right, awesome. Thank you so much, Amber. And thank you all so much for your time tonight. And welcome to the CWCT program. Thank you. Seriously, this is, I know it's a Monday night, and depending on what time zone you're in, our student population often has, at least represents a wide variety of time zones. So thank you so much for taking the time out tonight. Just as a forewarning, I would go ahead and make sure that you all are well aware that the next hour and a half to, well, it'll be a full 2 hours is very important. I know it's a longer orientation for the program, but because this program is quite unique, this is very important information. So this will also be recorded as well. So you'll be able to review this, especially the part we call it Chrissy Knows Best, when she goes through your My Ivy accounts and all that important information about accessing your lectures and Canvas. And we'll go through that in a little bit. For those who have never met me before, my name is Steve Olson. I'm one of the program managers here at CWCT. Alongside me tonight are Amber Schuler, Chrissy Duncan, and Michael Spalchiero. And we've been working on this program for a few years now. And I've got this graphic right up here tonight to give you a little bit of a broad idea of what this program is made up of. So if you're not familiar with what a consortium is, we are a group of 4 universities that are all working together to provide this program, the Cybersecurity Workforce Certification Training. And it was originally funded through a grant through the National Center of Academic Excellence. So that's a federal grant. And we're just a bunch of universities that work together. And what's really cool about the program is it's one program, and but we are able to hire instructors from all these different universities to bring you a really diverse curriculum and diverse faculty, and many of whom you're going to meet tonight, which I'm really excited about. So I'm just going to take everyone through a brief overview of our agenda. But before I do so, I want to say thank you all for many of you for your service, whether you're active duty, reservist, or separated. Thank you if you're a first responder, if you're law enforcement. We appreciate your service as well. And if you made it into our program and you don't identify as one of the populations I just said, you are in luck, because this is still a great program for you. This is one of the greatest programs I've seen like this. There aren't very many certificate and certification programs studying cyber that are virtual and asynchronous/synchronous like this. Not to mention, we've been doing this for a few years, and we're pretty proud of the training that we have. So on my second note, before I go through our agenda, is if you see me and some of the other CWCT staff that I mentioned tonight that have their Zoom backgrounds with our logo, know that we're here to help you. So this program is niche, but what's unique is many of you are working full-time right now. And you may have questions about what is it like to network and what is it like to be in this field. And maybe you just have questions about the program in general that we don't cover tonight. Know that you can reach out to us. And before I'm done here, I'm going to go ahead and drop my email in the chat as well. So going through our agenda for tonight, and forgive me if you see my little Zoom thing at the bottom. I went from triple monitors to giving up. I might be a system administrator full-time, but I could not figure out PowerPoint tonight. So once I'm done blabbing, Chrissy's going to go through the program in general, as well as some of our rules and regulations about participation policies, what kind of resources we have available, and what support we offer. And then one of my favorite parts is that we have the majority of our instructors here tonight that are going to come on camera, introduce themselves, and you'll be able to meet all of them. 4:55 to 5:25 Central Time. The My Ivy Learn and My Ivy account. That is what we call Chrissy Knows Best. Pay close attention to that. That is how you access your lecture. That's how you access your courses. That's how you access your email, all that kind of stuff. Our 3 PIs, which are principal investigators, these are the professors that are ahead of this program at each of our respective universities, are going to talk about our 3 tracks: forensics, systems admin, and AI. I'm actually going to talk briefly about the career fair right now. So this Friday, I'm going to actually put this information in the chat with a link. We're going to be hosting our next career fair. It's in collaboration with Act Now Education, and it's a totally virtual, but I'm going to put that information in the chat so that you see it. But if you should have already seen your email, so really it's just a reminder to go check your email. So if you're in this orientation, you received an email with a flyer and some information about it. So just reference that. But really, I'm just going to put a little more info in the chat here, as well as my email. So if you missed it or you want more information about our next career fair that we partner with Act Now, you can contact me. And then we'll go ahead and wrap up. So before we start, I turn the mic over to Amber and Chrissy. I just want to say again, thank you. This program is not the easiest program out there. but it's also one that has a very good track record for being something that helps students to be successful as they enter cybersecurity, to upskill in their current job. And even though there might be times when you think that the coursework is a bit challenging, remember that we are trying to prepare you to enter this field. This is not a program where we are just giving you information and pushing you along. We want you to be successful. And if you choose to take the certification exams that are attached to each appropriate course, we want you to be successful in those too and pass those courses. So without further ado, I just want to say thank you, and I wish you all the best. And please contact me if you have any questions about the program or about our career fairs and fireside chats. Thank you.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. Screen 2. All right. Amber, can you let me know if you can see my screen all right?
It looks good.
All right. So my name is Chrissy Duncan. I am the program manager out of Ivy Tech Community College. You all have received many an email from me, so now you can put a face with a name. So today what I'm going to be talking about is just the program overview, and some items, just really what is this program, what to expect, things like that. Hold on. Now my computer is not wanting to cooperate. All right, there we go. So we're going to first start off with just a brief program overview. As Steve mentioned, we are a consortium of the four institutions. But everything is going to be run through the Ivy Tech system, which is why I will be presenting a lot in this orientation. So one of the first things that you need to understand is that in our program, you have been admitted under one training path. Think of the training path as your focus area, your concentration area. It's all cybersecurity, but there's a lot of different aspects of cybersecurity. So there are the three training paths that we offer. That's the artificial intelligence path, the digital forensics path, and the system administration path. You were admitted under one path, and we're going to be talking about what that means for you here later. Within your one path, there will be 6 non-credit college level courses. So even though you don't get college credit for them, they are of a college level, meaning they're not just basic boot camp type classes. There's college material in here. Our courses are offered through live virtual lectures, 6 hours per week. You all should have completed your registration. You would have gotten an email to your Ivy Tech email to register for classes, and you should have picked which class or classes you're going to be taking. If you did not do that, you need to do that. Our registration deadline is Wednesday morning. Everybody should have gotten their confirmation if you did register, except for maybe a few of you who just registered today. But other than that, most of you should have gotten a confirmation that you are registered in classes. So these classes are offered 6 hours. So it's 2 days a week for 3 hours each, either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. And we understand, again, as Steve mentioned, we're throughout all time zones here, not only in the US, but we've got active duty military overseas. We have first responders that work weird shift work hours. So we know that not everybody can attend those live lectures, which is why all lectures are going to be recorded for those of you who cannot attend live during those specific days and times. We do not offer in-person offerings. This is a completely 100% online program. So you're not able to go onto a campus to take these classes. Your classes are in 8-week sessions where you will be taking 1 to 2 courses per session. So if you have to take a total of 6 classes, That means it will take you 3 to 6 sessions to finish, just depending on how many classes you take. It may take longer than that if you have to retake classes or have to sit out, those kinds of things. So each session is 8 weeks long, and then there's typically a 2-week break. The only outlier for that is during the winter holidays when the break is a little bit longer. But 8 weeks of class, 2 weeks of break, 8 weeks of class, 2 weeks of break until you have completed all of your classes you're required to take. Each course may lead to an industry recognized certification. Now, not all of the classes you will take provide a voucher for a certification. Most of them will. Typically 4 to 5 of your classes in your track of study will lead to you being able to possibly request a voucher for a corresponding certification. Now, this is important because this is something that has changed since we first started back in 2021. We can now only guarantee 1 certification voucher. It used to be that we were able to guarantee 3. That is no longer the case. We got a reduction in funding, so we just don't have all the funding that we used to. So you're guaranteed 1 certification voucher. Now, you could possibly request up to 2 additional vouchers for a total of 3, but those 2 additional vouchers will be based on funding and if the funding is available. Okay, so we cannot guarantee those additional 2 vouchers, but you are guaranteed at least 1 certification voucher through us that's covered by the program. At the end, once you have completed all 6 of your courses, you will receive a certificate of completion that will be provided to you by with the 4 consortium universities. And I forgot to mention, this is being recorded and it will be sent out at probably by the end of the week, by Friday, maybe sooner, we'll see. But if you have any questions, please just put them in the chat. Typically Amber or somebody else can grab them, or they will be answered during my little spiel here. So again, you are admitted under 1 track. You are guaranteed only 1 track. You must complete all 6 courses within your track following the established CWCT curriculum, okay? This means you can't pick and choose which courses you want or do not want to take. So if you were admitted under system admin, you can't be like, oh no, I'm going to take Python now. You can't. That's not a part of system administration, okay? When you were sent your registration emails, at the very end, after my signature, was the curriculum, as well as the curriculum is on our website. You need to follow that curriculum, okay? You have to, and the reason we have it set up that way is there's only 6 courses, and most of the time, 1 is going to be a prereq for the next class, which is going to be the prerequisite for the next class. There's a very specific order they're going to need to be taken. If you already have a certification, for example, for the CWCT 100, which is the A+ class, if you already have the A+ certification, there is a possibility that you can get a waiver, or Security Plus, it's actually the big one. If you provided us your Security Plus certification during your application process, when it's time to take your Security Plus course, that will be reviewed for the waiver. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to request the waiver, anything like that. That is automatically done during the registration period of when you will be taking that class. As long as we have the certification, you'll be good to go. The other big thing is that you do get 3 attempts to complete each course in your track of study. We know things happen, especially for those of you who are military. You might be deployed, have military orders. We know you get sick, family gets sick, family obligations. So we are a little flexible in how many attempts we give you, but you do only get 3 attempts for each course. It's not unlimited. Once you cannot complete a course in 3 attempts, you're going to be removed from the program. Again, That's just to provide funding for those who are able to complete the program. Now, here's a big one, and I know this is going to get asked several times, so please listen. We always get the question, can I take other classes? You know, especially when I finish my track, I want to do a second track. Again, you're only guaranteed one track, and you're only guaranteed the 6 courses inside your track of study. Now, you might be available, might is the big key there, to take courses outside your track if there is room available in those courses. So when we do registration, let's say, hey, we've got 10 spots in Python. You might be able to take a Python course if there's room available. When you are able to request these additional courses, you will be notified of that during the registration period that you're eligible to request the additional courses. So we don't need to know right this second, I want to take this course outside of my track. We don't need to know right now. You will be told, you will be given the information when you are eligible to request those additional courses. We can never guarantee you'll be able to ever take those additional courses. We have many students where they've requested a class 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times now, and we just don't have the room for them. The most we can recommend is you just keep requesting it to see if we ever do have room, but we can never guarantee additional coursework. All right, so I've mentioned the 3, I feel like, hold on. Okay, maybe I didn't. Okay, I feel like I missed this slide in here somewhere. It'll probably come up eventually. The 3 training paths, these are going to be discussed later. So I'm going to just, the big key pieces, again, there's the artificial intelligence, digital forensics, and system admin tracks. You choose one training path. And again, if space remains in the courses outside, you might be able to take those additional courses. Now, the grant, so the cost, if you are able to eventually take additional courses, those courses would be covered by the cost of the grant. So there would be no additional costs for those, but you don't get any additional certifications, certification vouchers. So if you take 10 courses, you are still only guaranteed 1 certification voucher with the possibility of those 2 additional ones. So just remember that. The cost of the classes, if you can take additional classes, will be covered, but not any additional certification vouchers. Again, we cannot guarantee any space in any additional courses or we can't guarantee you completing additional tracks on top of your admitted track. All right, one of the big things, participation, okay? This is not a boot camp, go at your own pace kind of class, program, okay? Participation of you is required to remain enrolled in this program. What does participation mean? Again, we know you might not be able to attend the live lectures, okay? So attendance will be taken at the lectures, but it does not count for a grade. That is mostly for data purposes, okay? What participation is you submitting your work, okay? Your quizzes, your labs, your homework, tests, whatever your work may be in the class, you need to be submitting those assignments every week. So due dates are typically going to be on a Sunday. You need to be submitting work every week, okay? Again, these are not self-paced courses, and submitting these assignments should not be delayed. If you cannot submit your assignments each week, you need to discuss your late submission with your instructor. Reach out to your instructor, okay? Instructors are not going to know what's going on unless you reach out to them, okay? We as program managers do not get to make that decision whether you can turn in work late. That is up to your instructors. Some instructors will allow late submission, some will not. So really develop that relationship with your instructors. Okay. We will check participation every 2 weeks. Okay. And if you have not submitted assignments, you will be contacted by a program manager. Okay. So we can see what's going on. Okay. If after we contact you, you still have not submitted assignments, you're going to be dropped from any coursework that you've been reported for non-participation, for not completing that weekly work. Okay. So if you're registered in a class, you need to be submitting your assignments. Okay. Also, you need to make sure you're either attending the live Zooms or watching the recordings. Okay. Again, they're going to take attendance, but it's more for data purposes. It is not a part of your grade. Okay. It's just so instructors know who's here, who's not, who maybe do we need to provide a little extra support for because they can't attend, things like that. Okay. If you cannot attend the live lectures, just let your instructors know so that they know not to be expecting you at those live lectures. Okay. The other thing, please be mindful of the time commitment for this program. Okay. One of the number one reason that students either do not pass classes or they drop from classes or withdraw from classes is that the time commitment for this program. Okay. It is a bigger time commitment than they expected, even though you guys get several warnings throughout the application process of the time commitment for this program. And here's yet another one. Okay. You will have 6 hours of lecture each week. Again, 2 days a week for 3 hours. Okay. If you're not attending live, that's 6 hours of now time you have to sit down and watch those recordings. Okay. Plus a potential of 12 hours or more for one class. Okay. If we figure it out, it's like 2 to 3 hours for every hour you're in class of lab work, exams, homework, things like that. Okay. So that means if you're taking one course, that's about 18 to 24 hours for just one course of time you have to dedicate for this. Okay. If you're taking 2 courses, it's about a full-time job because now you have your 12 hours of lecture and your 24 hours of homework time. This is, of course, going to vary student to student, your knowledge, your if you already have some of this background. So it will depend, but it is still a large time commitment, even if you have the background. Okay. If after hearing, so it's really important that you don't overcommit yourself and take more classes than you can manage with your work, family, military obligations, things like that. If after hearing that, you're thinking, I might want to drop down to one class, please send me an email. Amber, if you can put my email in the chat for them, I would appreciate it. It's cduncan63 at ivytech.edu. Please send me an email with which class you want to drop. If you are in A+, you should stay in A+ and drop the other one because that A+ is a prereq for a lot of other classes, okay? It is not a requirement to take 2 courses. You can only take one if you can't commit to 2. That's perfectly fine. It might take you a little bit longer. And if you start with one now, you don't have to stay with one. You can get used to the time commitment it's going to take, and then you could go up to 2 in your next sessions, go back down to 1. We're flexible in that. But if you start in the class and later on you realize, oh yeah, I can't commit this time, that's going to count as one of your attempts. So it's better to drop it now before the session starts, where it's not going to count as an attempt. This was the slide I thought I skipped, so it is much later. This is our upcoming training schedule. So as of right now, our program ends with our last session being in the June 2025. So we have 7 sessions left. So if you only take one course a session, you can still finish in the remaining time, plus have one extra session if you have to retake a class or sit out for some reason. Okay. So there's seven sessions left. You have to take 6 classes. so there's some flexibility for you to go down to one class if you feel you need to. Okay. Now, again, we know sometimes that you may need to take a session off for some reason. You're being deployed, military obligations, family obligations, health reasons, whatever those reasons may be. Maybe work is busier at certain times than others. You can defer to a later session. You can only defer 3 sessions in a row. And then if you do not return after those 3 sessions, you're removed from the program. Okay. Again, we need the commitment to finish the program. Okay. So you can take a break if you need to, but only 3 sessions. As of right now, we don't know what's happening with the program after this June through July of 25. Continuation beyond these dates will depend on availability of future funding. So we're always looking for additional funding and further funding. As we find out that information, we will share it with you guys. But as of right now, expect for this program to be done in June of 25. If it gets extended, we'll let you know. But kind of think about your future sessions and your enrollment with that in mind. Okay. Even if you cannot finish all 6 courses, let's say something comes up, you have to defer 3 sessions, but you can't take 2 classes, it's just too much. You can still participate in this program even if you can't finish all 6 courses. Get done what you can and still be eligible for some of those vouchers, at least that 1 voucher with the possibility of those 2 additional vouchers. So we want you to still complete, we will still allow you to participate even if you can't finish all 6 courses in the remaining time. Okay. Also, the other thing I forgot to mention, and I know I'm going to be running low on time here, you will get a copy of this PowerPoint when we send the recording. You'll get a PDF version of this because there's some links, and I also know some of it may be small for you to read on your screen. So to keep that in mind. So we keep talking about how this is a grant funded program. So what does this grant cover? What are you responsible for? Really, the overall answer to that is mostly nothing. And what are we responsible for paying? So this part is talking about what cost does this grant cover? So first of all, this grant covered the cost of your English, math, and IT assessments that you took during the application process. This includes any of the study paths that you had to take if you did not get the initial required score. This includes the training modules for the IT assessment. If you received any additional support through tutoring, that was all covered by this grant. Okay. And this has been mentioned, your test fees for 1 guaranteed certification voucher will be covered. Again, you may be able to request 2 additional vouchers for a total of 3 if the funding is available for those 2 additional vouchers. And really, we won't know what the funding is available until you actually request those vouchers. You'll request that second voucher and you'll either be told, yep, we have funding, or nope, we don't, because it's hard to tell because it depends on who gets that initial first voucher when. The cost also covers your courses with that live virtual faculty instruction. You have an instructor that will be lecturing. And then again, for those who cannot attend live, they will be recorded for later viewing. We have what are called cybersecurity support analysts. This email address, cwct-support@ivtech.edu, is going to be an important one. What these cybersecurity support analysts will do is they can provide possible tutoring depending on the class. They can provide tech technical support, mostly in your classes that use NetLab and NetLab 2. That's one of the resources that are used in your classes. They're kind of in charge of that, as well as the virtual machine development and maintenance. So that is covered, are those support analysts. Your online books and materials, if applicable, for your courses. Most courses will just use resources, not necessarily a book. So some of our classes use Cisco Net Academy. Some will use the NetLab. I know Ethical Hacking has a virtual book. And then Linux will have a code that you're provided with. Okay. So a lot, as far as I know, none of our classes have a physical book that you can purchase. It's all going to be online. Okay. So all those resources and materials, those are covered by the CWCT program and the grant that we have. The one exception, and this is only if you need to retake a class. So if you need to retake Linux because you were dropped for non-participation, because you withdrew, whatever it may be, you will be required to pay for the access code to take it again. Okay, we cover it the first time. We can only pay for that code one time. Okay, it is only at this moment that I'm talking, it's $29.95, so 30 bucks. So not a huge cost. And again, that will only be if you have to retake that class. Okay. Essentially, you're going to have to agree to this to even get your initial code in the initial class you take. Okay. So if you need to retake that class, that's the only time you're going to have to pay for materials for the class, is if you have to retake Linux. Okay. So what else is included? So this is some of the support that we provide. I already mentioned the cybersecurity support analysts. Okay. Again, they're there for tutoring, technical support, and they're the ones who maintain and develop the virtual machines you will be using. Okay. Some of the courses have graduate assistants that are assigned that will help the instructors. They might be able to provide extra support / tutoring. We don't have this for all of our classes, but for some of them. You each have an assigned program manager. So that's either going to be myself, Amber, or Fatima from University of North Carolina, Charlotte. You are all assigned to one of the three of us as your assigned program manager. We are there to provide support to you, answer your questions. If we don't know the answer, if we're not the one that deals with what you're asking, we will direct you to who you need to go to. Okay, your instructors are there for support. Your instructors should be your number one support, actually. If you are having any issues in the class itself, your instructor should be the first person you're contacting. Okay. Another way that we support you is allowing you 3 attempts to complete a course, which I mentioned before. So again, we know things happen, life happens. So we give you multiple attempts, but again, you only get the 3 attempts and that's it at each course. Again, one of the other things we do to support you is giving you the ability to defer or sit out up to those 3 sessions. So there's that flexibility that we're able to provide. Again, it can't be unlimited because we've got to have you finish, but we do give you that flexibility in sitting out, giving you those multiple attempts. And then the 2 other big things, which were mentioned previously by Steve, or at least the career fair. So we do not offer job placement services with this program, but we tried to support you all in your careers by having career fairs. And as Steve mentioned, we have the one on Friday, as well as we have what are called fireside chats. These are like workshops that we have. They can be with a certain employer that's just talking about cybersecurity in general, how to break into cybersecurity. They can be about networking, job searching, resume writing, all those different kinds of support that students typically ask for as they're going into their careers. I think that is all I have. Amber, were there any questions that did not get answered in the chat?
I think Steve did a pretty good job of keeping up. There might be a few questions about alternate certifications and submitting those certifications to waive equivalent courses. There were a number of questions that came up. So if you don't mind double checking on that.
Yep. So I'll put in for those of you, really those of you asking about certifications, it's best if you just email me with that, but I will provide you with the link where you would need to upload any of those certifications. We don't accept any via email, so I'll put in the chat. But again, it's best to just email me because every situation is going to be different, and we kind of need to look at most of those. But yeah, I'll look at that, and if there's a generality, I'll answer it.
Perfect. So for those of you just joining us, coming in a little bit late, as Chrissy had mentioned, this is going to be recorded and that link will be sent out by Friday. It'll be loaded onto YouTube. So, but right now we are going to go through and meet your instructors. So for everybody, one of the first classes you're going to be taking is your A+ course. No matter what track you're in, A+ is one of those required classes that everybody has to take. And so you may have class Monday, Wednesday night, or you may have class Tuesday and Thursday night, but I'm going to give those instructors a chance to introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about their class. If you have questions, go ahead and throw it in chat. One of us will try and ask it for you or keep an eye on it and answer it for you. So I know I saw Alma pop in right away in the beginning. Alma teaches on Tuesday and Thursday evenings this coming session. Alma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Alma Scott, and I'll be teaching the A+ certification class. Now, this class, a lot of information. We'll be covering hardware, software, but there are other topics that we'll cover as well. We'll do a little packet tracer. There's a summary review of networking, of security. We'll be looking at things like virtualization and cloud computing. But it's a good class. You should enjoy it, cover a lot of information. There will be lecture, but we'll also be doing things like breakout rooms where you'll work on assignments with other students. There are websites we'll visit to do exercises and videos. So it's a good class, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks.
Thank you, Alma. And those of you who have Dima on Tuesday and Thursday evenings, she teaches the other section. She unfortunately isn't able to join us tonight. So she will do a little intro maybe on your My Ivy page. So or your Ivy Learn page. So thank you, Alma. Thank you so much for that. And then those of you who have Monday and Wednesday evening courses, you may have Constance as your instructor or Majid as your instructor. And I saw both of them pop in. Constance, Majid, who would like to go first?
Sure. I'll go first. Sorry. I didn't.
Ladies first.
I'll go first, Majid. I am Dr. Constance Chastine Mofield. You'll probably just see it say Chastine on there, so I don't want you to be confused. I did get married recently. Yes, I teach the Monday, Wednesday class, just like Alma. She already went through the topics that we'll be going over. It's a great refresher. You may currently work in IT, but when we are working in IT, we usually get in some specifics and, we forget about the other stuff. So it's a good refresher course. And of course, it is designed to prepare you for the A+ certification. Just a little background about me. I've been working for Ivy Tech since 2017 as a full-time faculty member. I teach IT essentials and IT support classes all the time, and I've done that in the real world, not just in academia. So just to let you know, there's real world experience behind the teaching, right? I didn't just go through college and that's all I've done. So look forward to meeting you all on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Perfect. Thanks, Constance. Professor Majid, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm Majid Mohseni, and I'm also been with the Ivy Tech since 2017 and about 25 years in education. So we do come all together with a lots of experience as far as the teaching and instructing the classes in here. The classes that you are going to be taking with me is going to be the CompTIA Support 100. And this class is your prerequisite, as Chrissy was saying, and is also a foundation for your other classes. So that's a little bit more that you want to pay attention to it. And I know Chrissy told you about the attendance, of course, being, not, we don't require you to be in here, but we do definitely recommend you being here with us. There's a lots of advantage that we will be talking about that one. Yes, you can listen to the recording, you can listen to or go through the material yourself and take the exams. But remember that there's a lots of things that we talk during the class that the questions comes to your mind that you want to ask. And if you're not live in the class, you won't be able to ask the questions. And there's other advantage, like I just had some requests for recommend some students for a job because how they reacted in the class, how the way that they have been participating in the class. So we can help you in that way as well too. But if you're not coming to the class, then it's not going to be. I'm not going to be as helpful to you as people that they are in the class, because I wouldn't know how you would react to the the whole questions and the participations and the conversations. So it's very important. I understand some people they cannot, but I will explain all of those in the class. But I think that what I just said, it will refer to all the instructors in here because everybody wants the participations, wants everybody being here. But please take that one into the consideration. If you have options, please be in the class, and we will go over. There's a lots of material, as Alma was saying. We have a lots of hardware, software to cover in here, so it is going to be a lot of material, and it's going to go very quickly. So we need to make sure that go all together and make sure that nobody's going to be behind, and we will make sure that everything is going to be covered for you guys. So we will see you in the class next week, and if you have any question prior to that one, please email me or Chrissy. Depends on what kind of question you might have regarding the class or something else. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Professor Majid. And as he had said, you can always reach out ahead of time too. And I don't know if any of the instructors want to put their emails in the chat ahead of time if students have questions or unique situations that they want to talk about before class gets started. I'll leave it up to the instructors. But another beginning class, whether you're system admin track or digital forensics, is going to be Linux. And we have, I know I saw Enrique came in. Enrique, you might be the only representative for Linux tonight. So I'm going to let him speak on behalf of all of the other instructors. I'll let him get started. Enrique, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, guys. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather. My name is Enrique Catalan. I hope everyone's doing good today. Yes, I'm gonna be teaching Linux. It's one of the specialty track classes you will take for the system administration. All right, so you will get a lot of hands-on practice. So if you're not able to make it into the class, please watch those videos, because every single lab I try to do it during lecture. So I try to take all the questions also during lecture, but I'm also available on email. So I'm here to help you. I'm always tell everyone, just reach out to me, participate. And if something come up, just talk to me, right? So we're here to support you. We're here to make you successful. So I hope everyone's excited about learning about Linux, right?
Awesome. And Enrique, you got Tuesday and Thursday night. Some of you may also have Jeremy Batterby as your instructor. He's also on Tuesday and Thursday. And then your Monday, Wednesday instructors, unfortunately, Yuri and Bill were unable to join us tonight, but hopefully Enrique did a nice representation for everybody with Linux. So appreciate you. And then for those of you who are on the AI track, rather than Linux, you're going to be taking Python. So Python is one of your first programming classes. And we have Dave Lieberman. I know I saw you pop in. Dave, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure, I have my customary couple slides. Are you ready for this? Can I
Go
steal
for
the
it.
share? No, thank you. And are we seeing the share?
Yep, it is
Yep.
up.
Okay, great. So my name is David Lieberman. I'm a small business owner, and I am here in the heart of Silicon Valley. We're software developers. Our specialties are C#. We do a lot of C embedded. That's the code that's in your cell phones. And of course, Python. We do contract work for, I'm not supposed to say, but they starts with a G, and it's a really big company here in Silicon Valley. And their official language is Python. So this is an important language, and I just want to touch on why. It's been around a long time, and it has a huge base of libraries that just span many disciplines. And I want to show you an example of one. So the graphs you're looking at, the one on the left is a vibration response. This was provided to us by NASA. And the graph on the right is a frequency analysis of that. It took them years to develop this algorithm, but our company, we were approached and asked to integrate it into our package. And I went online, and within a minute, I'd run across this open source Python library. And within 15 minutes, here's the code to do the same thing. And I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 lines of code, and we were able to provide this functionality. So this is one of Python's superpowers. So I am doing the Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 to 9 p.m. Central. Just a note, the Python course is delivered on Cisco's Netacad platform. So what'll happen is you'll receive an email, and they'll have a link, and that will invite you. Some of you may already have an account. And in fact, if you provide me the email for that account that you already have on Netacad, I can associate this course to it. And then I'm just going to leave you with this thought. This just warms my heart. In October, we had a student, the fall session, and by week 6, she was developing her own Python script to analyze data that comes down from their satellites. And before the end of the course, she was promoted. So this is a lovely outcome and the kind of thing we like to see. And I think an example of how Python can really promote your career. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, David. That's a good point. So some of your classes might use Netacad or might have NetLab logins. And we'd like to remind participants, don't log into those until you have your first class, just to make certain that you've got the right email and the right password. So your instructors have to troubleshoot those issues that pop up. So Dave said, keep an eye out for it, but don't necessarily click it until you go to the first class, okay? I see Enrique and Majid nodding as well. So and then for everybody again, for all 3 tracks, now we come back to classes that everybody's going to take again, which is your Security Plus course. And I know that I saw Glenn pop in. Glenn, would you like to represent Security Plus?
Sure. Good day, everyone. My name is Glenn Hernandez. I've been teaching the CWCT 105 course for a couple years, and it's a great foundation for anyone getting into any of these 3 tracks. Just to let everybody know, CompTIA had recently updated all the objectives for this particular course and exam. And so I just restructured it. We're going to be debuting it here next week for everyone. So hopefully everybody enjoys the new content. It's really updating all those things that you hear about with cloud, zero trust, and operational technology security. So look forward to the course. I'll be teaching Mondays and Wednesdays. And I also have Rob Sasurma with me as the other instructor.
Perfect. Yep. Thanks so much, Glenn. And I know you worked really hard on that. And then students are really excited about that, the new curriculum. So really appreciate all your hard work on that. And then another course that everybody's going to be taking regardless of your track is going to be Cyber Ops. So Cisco Cyber Ops, and I know I saw Ben and I saw Alf pop in. Which one of you 2 would like to go first to kick us off with Cyber Ops?
Age before beauty.
Take it
So,
away, Professor Alf.
welcome, guys. I'm Professor Alf Sanford. Just celebrated 10 years with Ivy Tech and enjoying every minute of it. I've been in IT since Y2K. Got my first taste and worked with mainframes, assembler, apps COBOL, a little bit of Unix, and some hardware remediation as we got the world ready for the big event that never happened. Then got into education, and so I've been able to put those two together, teaching IT, and have enjoyed teaching a few classes here for this awesome program to fast track you guys and get you ready for this important work. I forget when it was, maybe early 2000s, cybercrime passed, physical crime for the first time in world history. So, and you're seeing the news, it's just everywhere. Ransomware as a service. So we talk about a lot of these things in the cyber ops course. It's a great course, and I've had some good feedback from students who got out and were then able to pass the Cisco Cyber Ops 200-201. Professor David talked about Python and its popularity. There's also a certification or two that you can go on and get with that. I'm not sure if it's part of this program, but I'm a big advocate for certificates, certifications. So the program will provide you an opportunity to get some of those, and we're in a unique position as you guys. If you could go ahead and log into my class and read at least chapter 1. I do run a flipped classroom, so I'll ask you to read the content, absorb that before you come in, and then we'll talk about any questions that you have on the content, and then tackle the labs. There's 40 or so activities that will keep us busy. So we try to keep you humming and reduce the burden outside of the classroom, because I know you guys are super busy. Thank you for all your service and the wonderful things you're doing. But that's been a successful transition since we went to 8-week classes at Ivy Tech. You will, as Amber mentioned, get the Neticat invitation to join the class, and then we'll also work in the Net Lab as well. I'll explain a little bit more about the unique certification opportunity, but in a nutshell, I want you to earn the CWCT cert, but then Cisco is going to kick in a great discount that I would then say, hey, just go ahead and pay the small price out of pocket, and then save the voucher that you get from this class for one of the more expensive certifications. We'll meet Mondays and Wednesdays, 6 to 9 p.m. Central, and look forward to working with you guys.
Thank you for Professor Alf. Professor Ben, would you like to go?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, I was having a little trouble with my mic earlier. All right, yeah, Professor Alf has already mentioned quite a bit about the course, specifically the certification. This course actually does lead towards the Cyber Ops certification, which is a great cert to get, provided by Cisco. You're going to learn everything you need to know about being a Security Operations Center analyst, which basically just means you're going to be trained on the skills needed to monitor, detect, and even respond to cybersecurity threats. So it's a great course. It's all a lot of it is hands-on. I kind of run the class a little bit like Professor as well. I like to have the students read the material ahead of time because there's a lot of material in there. But during the lecture time, I prefer to spend more time with the labs. There's quite a few labs, and that's the best way to learn, I think, is hands-on. So we'll go through a lot of the tools that analysts will use, cybersecurity analysts will be using, packet sniffing software like, say, Wireshark, and there's others too. We'll be working with the Security Onion in the lab exercises, which also provide tools to help detect and combat those cyber threats. It's a fun class. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And then go out and get a job in this field because it's in big demand. If you can develop these skills and really be good at it, I'm talking, the security concepts, the security monitoring, host-based analysis, network intrusion analysis, the security policies, all the things that we're going to cover in the class, and really pay attention to all that. There's good chance you could get into this field of work if you're looking for it. and because the demand is huge. As Professor Alf mentioned, there's ransomware hits all over the place. There's companies being attacked all the time. So your skills are needed out there to protect against that. And my class also meets Mondays and Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Central Time. So I look forward to working with everyone and getting to meet you all virtually during that class session. So look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you. Thanks, Professor Ben. And then for those of you who
Amber,
are, oh yeah, go ahead.
real quick, I see somebody mentioned the skills for all in the chat. And I just want to eliminate that confusion.
Yeah, go for it.
We will be in Netacad. Some of you seem like you might be aware that Cisco is transitioning to another platform. It's going to affect all the instructors. That won't happen till summer, July. So we'll be in the netacad.com space. So, you know, Skills for All, not a bad resource, but don't get confused yet. That convergence won't affect our class.
Thank you for addressing that. And then for the system admin track, as you get towards the end of the program, that's when you start getting your last two really specialized courses. And we have two of your instructors here today. Our ethical hacking instructor, Anthony Ford, is going to talk a little bit about his course.
And I can do that. You
Yay!
betcha. Hi, I'm Anthony Ford. I am the certified ethical hacker instructor, and it's a good course. It's a lot of fun. It goes way deep in a heartbeat. We talk about the functions of everything that you have talked about previous to this course. We start looking at it deeper, and the tools to be able to look at it. How can we attack this? How do we defend this? All of this is covered. It's a very in-depth course. The lectures get longer than I like them to be and more in-depth than I like them to be, but there's just a lot in there. Yes, a lot of history. I will cover some of that as well. I love being able to play with history because I think understanding our past helps us to understand the future. And it's different, but at the same time, it's exactly the same thing, just faster and smaller. And so it's kind of cool, but it's a good course. And yes, helps you to prepare for the certified ethical hacker exam if that's where you want to be able to move forward into.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And the other final class that you'll be taking in your track is your cloud course. And we have your instructor, Paul, is here to talk a little bit about cloud.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the program. Thank you, everyone, for all your service and all that you do. But glad to have you around. For the cloud class, I'm really excited to teach. I've been teaching the last several years and really enjoyed the class. Come from 30 some years of IT support and system administration, and 20 some years of actually teaching it as well. So it's been a lot of fun being able to put it all together, and especially during this class, working with the students and working with all of you. I'm definitely available to answer any questions at any time. Definitely, if you come to class, I can answer them right away and go through the lab. I go through labs with you. My class is completely based on labs. So there's no midterm or final. I saw that popping up a bunch of times. But I'm working through the labs with you, talk about some topics. It's more of an overview, but it builds slowly some basic things at the beginning, but it's very rewarding at the end of putting it all together, of you being able to put it all together to actually have, you know, these systems running and functioning. So it's pretty exciting to happen. I am on Tuesdays and Thursdays, also from 6 until 9 Central. I'm coming from Northeast Wisconsin, so it's always great to talk to the people around the country. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul. And then those of you who are on the digital forensics track, your last two more advanced courses are going to be your digital forensics investigation and your computer forensics course. And I know I saw digital forensics investigation. Daryl, are you still in here?
I am.
Would you like to introduce
sorry, the mute
yourself?
button is not as easy. The mute button's not as easy to get to at times.
Absolutely.
Yes, I will be teaching on, I believe I'm on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That's correct.
Evenings.
Yep.
Yes, and we'll be also doing labs in Netacad. And we will, I use the lectures to walk through some of the labs and try to explain some things with that process and try to answer any questions along the way that can help you in terms of the class itself. So, I mean, that's my short and sweet answer, I guess.
I appreciate that. And then the other course that digital forensics participants will be taking is the computer forensics class. And we have your instructor, Jason Hensley, is here tonight.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, my name is Jason Hensley. Actually, this is my second time teaching the digital forensics course. I recently retired from the Secret Service, and I basically did digital forensics and cyber investigations my whole career since 2000. So I remember the Y2K issue. I was actually the young duty agent that had to be on call that night for the event that did not happen. So that was a good thing. So yeah, it did interfere with my New Year's celebrations. But anyway, it was actually, it's a fun course. We really get down to, I'm a big believer in the fundamentals. You got to know where the data is coming from, because there is a plethora of data that computers just record about you that the bad guys just don't know about. You got to find that evil, and they make it easy. And what's also really cool about this class that I noticed in the last class is we do have like law enforcement that's currently doing digital forensics, and we actually got to talk about that. If they had an issue, we kind of worked together to figure it out. So that was pretty unique about the course. And now I come from a background from, I was in the National Guard. I flew helicopters, did the law enforcement thing for a while. I've been teaching at Ivy Tech for a little over a year now. So they sucked me in, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's great. So I'll be teaching the Tuesdays and Thursdays. And again, I'm available all the time. Hit me up. And I love having that interaction with the students, because you can pick up a lot of different stuff. And actually, I just saw on the news, one of my cases, just somebody just got sentenced not too long ago. So, it's pretty good to know that. And you'll see, and I'll talk about some of my past investigations as much as I can. But you can see where these guys are working together, especially these transnational investigations going out there. So. And I'll introduce the Linux, very important. Good. A lot of the forensics tools do use Unix, and we'll use NetLab, and you'll actually get hands-on to a full forensic suite. That it's pretty expensive if you buy it, but at least you get some hands-on for some. We'll do free tools, but you also get experience with like a paid forensics suite. So, all right, see you on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jason. Thanks so much to all the instructors who came tonight to introduce themselves. Students, I hope that this kind of gives you an idea of what to expect in your track, and got to see some faces to put with the names on those schedules. So hopefully you're excited for those courses coming up. Oh my gosh, next week already. Isn't that nuts? Okay. So I'm going to turn it back over to Chrissy now. Chrissy, are you ready?
Sure. I'm going to go ahead and leave my camera off, because I'm going to be doing stuff and sharing my screen, and there's really no need to see me anymore. So leaving that off. Amber, can you see my Ivy on?
Yes, you are good. Yep.
Great. All right. And then great. So tonight I am going to be discussing two big pieces of technology you'll be using as a participant in this program. So this is really what a lot of you are wanting to know, exactly how to do your classes. Okay, so you've actually already used both of these pieces when you went through the application process to access your assessments, but I'm going to discuss more closely how they'll relate to your participation in your courses. So, and I mentioned this earlier, while this program is made up of the consortium of the 4 universities, the Ivy Tech system is what you will be using to complete the program. So everything's in the Ivy Ivy Tech portion to complete. So tonight we'll be looking at My Ivy, which is your student portal, as well as Ivy Learn, which is the online course management system. And Ivy Learn is how you will access your courses for your virtual lectures, to find your syllabus, to get to some of those other resources and materials you'll be using in your class, those types of things, okay? So we're gonna start off with My Ivy, which is, again, the student portal. And really, there's several different ways to get to both My Ivy and Ivy Learn. One is going to be through the main Ivy Tech website. And I did not have it already pulled up, which is this ivytech.edu. At the upper left, I'm going to make this a little bigger. At the upper, sorry, not upper left, but in the upper menu bar, you will see the links there for My Ivy as well as Ivy Learn. So you can get to it from there. The other way is to get to My Ivy is just to go directly to the page, which is just myivy.ivytech.edu. And I would just go ahead and bookmark this page. Notice that there is not a www, it's just the HTTPS : so no www, but I would just bookmark this because you're going to be utilizing it a lot, okay? So when you log in, first of all, down here is the reset or forgot password. If you ever forget your password, you will have needed to set up your Microsoft authentication to be able to reset your password. We here at CWCT do not do anything with your passwords. Like we don't have your passwords. We cannot reset your passwords. If you get a message that you cannot reset it and you have to contact a system administrator, you're going to have to call the help desk, which is 1-888-IVY line, LINE. You'll have to have your C number and your Ivy Tech email address when you call, and you'll need to let them know that you are a non-credit student, or else they will have trouble finding you. Okay, so when you log in to My Ivy, mine is saved. So you need to make sure you are logging in with the Ivy Tech email address and not your personal email address. Okay, so I have logged into My Ivy. Mine is going to look slightly different than yours because I am a staff member. So I have a staff view where you will have a student view, but the concepts I'm about to discuss will be the same. So there are two big pieces that you'll want to become familiar with in My Ivy for this program. The two big pieces you'll want to know is how to access Ivy Learn and how to access your student email. As a participant in this program, both of these should just be listed in your dashboard here in the middle, or at least Ivy Learn will be. The email has actually changed. So it should be here in your quick links. If it is not, you can go over here to see all, or you can search for it up here and you can favorite it by just clicking on the heart next to it, okay? So, and when you favorite, it will then show up over here in your favorites. Your email, the easiest way to get your email is right up here. Where it says email, you just click on that and it will take you to your email. Now, a lot of these other links are not going to be applicable to you because this is a non-credit program. So for example, if you come here to My Schedule and click on My Schedule, a schedule is not going to show up for you because we use a different system for registration or displaying registration than the for credit side here at Ivy Tech. Okay, so really in here, it's going to be your Ivy Learn and your email. So you're not going to have financial aid. You're not going to have a schedule. You're not going to have an account balance. You're not going to have any of that. Okay. So as of January of 2023, so it's been over a year now, Ivy Tech transitioned all of our student email from the Gmail platform to the Outlook platform. So when you click on the email link up here, it's going to take you to Outlook. So once you get that all set up and you can access it, you should just be able to use the Outlook app to make sure you are checking your Ivy Tech email on a regular basis on your phone if you so choose. Now you may have to, if you already have like an account that you use Outlook for, you may have to add the second account, and you should be able to Google how you can do that, because it's going to depend on your device and all of that good stuff. Due to student privacy laws, your Ivy Tech email should be the email you are using to communicate for this program, which means you also need to be checking your Ivy Tech email on a regular basis, okay? This is how we are going to send the really important emails to you. Because of privacy, we have to send them to your Ivy Tech email. We cannot send them to your personal, because we don't know who else has access to your personal email addresses, okay? You should only have access to your Ivy Tech emails, okay? So make sure you are checking your Ivy Tech email regularly, please. Also, sometimes our emails, even if I'm sending it from Ivy Tech, it can still go to spam sometimes, okay? So make sure you're also regularly checking I think Outlook actually calls it clutter. So what is equivalent to your spam or clutter folder? Make sure you're checking that pretty regularly as well to make sure those really important emails are not going there for some reason, okay? Now, the big piece I know you've all been waiting for: how exactly do you complete your virtual classes? Again, these are going to be through Ivy Learn, okay? So again, there's a couple different ways to get to Ivy Learn. Through the main Ivy Tech website, you can click on Ivy Learn. You can click on Ivy Learn here in My Ivy, or it is ivylearn.ivytech.edu. Okay, so either of those three ways, again, you just bookmark it because you're going to be using it a lot. Now, the one piece I want to talk about first is this inbox, because this is not the same thing as your student email. I just got done talking about student email. This is not the same thing. This is a way to directly communicate with your class through the Ivy Learn system. Okay, so I'm just going to show this here to you really quick. So if you go in here, okay, let's say you want to send an email to your instructor. When you create a new message, essentially you pick the course, and then you can pick either, like, the instructor's name will come up. You may have access to contact your students through, or your classmates through here, those kinds of things, okay? You cannot email your program manager through here, okay? Because we are not associated with the class. It has to be associated with the class in order to use this, okay? So that is why I want to make sure, because sometimes what happens is, like, I've never gotten a single email from you. Well, that's because they're checking this inbox and not their email, okay? So make sure that you are checking your email, and then really understand that this is separate. This is not your email. This is just a messaging feature that is linked to your actual courses, okay? So in here, so your instructor should put in your class syllabus their preferred contact of method, and it may be utilizing this inbox. It may be actual emailing. That's going to just depend on the instructor. So make sure you look at that in the syllabus once you have access to your classes. Okay. Now on your dashboard, your classes should come up. now, and I'm going to talk about when you should start seeing your classes here in a moment. Actually, so it is important to note that your courses will not appear in Ivy Learn until 2 days before your first class session. Okay, so that means if you are in a Monday, Wednesday course, okay, your first class, day of class is Monday, March 25th. That means you should have access to your courses in Ivy Learn on Saturday, March 23rd. If it is a Tuesday, Thursday class, the first day of class will be Tuesday, March 26th, and you should have access on Sunday, March 24th, okay? So it is 2 days before the class starts. Though they should pop up on your dashboard, okay? If you do not see them on your dashboard, you can also go here into courses. And if you don't see them here under published courses, if you click on all courses, now you're gonna not have nearly as many as I do here because this is 10 years worth of classes. But you can go into courses, select all. Now, please note that even if a course becomes active, okay, the instructor still has to have published the course for you to actually access it, okay? You will see that here, it's going to be on your dashboard. It's going to be divided into published courses and unpublished courses. If your course is listed here in unpublished courses, you just have to wait until they publish the course for you to have access to it, okay? And that might not be until the actual first day of class, okay? The instructor might be getting some stuff ready in there and just doesn't want you to have access yet. Please be patient, okay? Again, we know you guys are excited and you want to get in there and you want to start working on things, but you won't have access, okay? So again, the other place to look, if you go to courses and go to all courses, it will tell you if the course is published or not, okay? We'd prefer you, like, let's say it's like Sunday, please don't email us saying, I can't see my course, okay? Go in here and look and see if it's published. I double check all registrations before the course starts. If you got an email with your schedule, you are registered for that course, okay? It could just be a matter of you having to wait until the course is published by the instructors, okay? So that's a big piece of information. So it's not going to pop up until 2 days before, and you might not be able to go into it until it's actually published by the instructor, which could be the day of classes. Okay, so I'm going to go into one of my past courses so I can kind of show you what it looks like. Okay, now I took this back in 2020, so it's been a hot minute, okay? So but your class is going to look very similar to this once you actually go in, okay? You're going to want to make sure you're reading any course announcements. Your instructors are going to put very important announcements. For example, this last session, we had a very big technical problem with NetLab. Our NetLab went down, okay? Your instructors, the instructors put an announcement in Ivy Learn that NetLab was down and how they were going to essentially work around that, okay? So make sure you're checking your announcements, okay? So that they'll either be displayed on the home page, or you can even go into the announcements tab. Either way, okay? You want to carefully make sure you are reading your syllabus. This is where a lot of important information is going to be contained. And this may be why the instructor has not published the class yet until the day before. Maybe they're getting their syllabus finalized. You know, it could be for a variety of reasons. The modules tab, some classes may use this and some classes may not. Now, The classes that we use may utilize other resources, and we kind of mentioned, or materials or programs. So several classes will use Cisco NetAcad. Some will use a thing called NetLab. There's like a NetLab and a NetLab 2. We don't use Red Hat anymore, but NetAcad and NetLab are going to be two big ones, okay? The weekend before classes start, you will more than likely get an email saying, you've been invited to this NetAcad course. Here's your NetLab username and password. Do not do anything with those until you are instructed by your instructor during the first lecture, please, okay? There are going to be additional instructions that you need from your instructor that they will go over during that first lecture that you'll need to set up those things properly, okay? And then more than likely, especially like NetAcad, that's where you will actually be doing your assignments, your labs, your quizzes, your exams, whatever it may be, will actually be in NetAcad. So a lot of your work itself is probably not going to be within Ivy Learn. It may be linked. It may tell you what you need to do each week, but the actual work itself is going to be in those outside resources. Again, your instructor will go over all of that during your first lecture. If you cannot attend the first lecture live, please watch that recording as soon as you can, okay? So again, do not join those resources until that first lecture happens and you're given the instructions on how to do so, okay? Grades may or may not be kept in Ivy Learn. They may be kept in Ivy Learn, they may be kept in NetAcad. That's all going to depend on the class, but there is a grades link here for those that might, okay? Now, the big piece you all want to know about is how do you access these lectures, either live or recorded? All of our lectures are going to be via Zoom, okay? It's super easy to get to, I promise, okay? You're going to go into the class and you will see a Zoom menu item here on the left, okay? You simply click on that. And then you are going to have more than likely 2 or 3 tabs here at the top, okay? You will have an upcoming meetings tab that will display all of the links for all of your upcoming lectures, okay? I obviously don't have any because this is a past class that happened back in 2020. So I don't have anything listed here. You will. Again, you'll have the list with the meeting ID. You'll click on it, go into the class, okay? The meeting ID might be the same for every single week. I think that kind of just depends on how the instructor sets it up, okay? And then to watch the recordings, there's going to be possibly you'll either have, again, 2 or 1 tab. There's possibly going to be a previous meetings and then a cloud recordings. This is all going to depend on how the instructor has it set to record, whether they're having it recorded to the cloud or not to the cloud. Okay, so this is really going to depend on how the instructor has it set up. Previous meetings. Right now, I don't have anything listed because this instructor had recorded everything to the cloud. So all of my past recordings are under the cloud recordings. Again, it's going to be under one of these two, possibly both. On how, and then essentially you just go in and click on the class that you need to watch the recording for. Okay, so it's all here in this Zoom link under one of these 3 tabs, okay? Either the upcoming meetings if you're attending live, or previous meetings or cloud recordings if you are watching the recording, okay? Like I said, super easy. You just have to know how to get there, okay? Now, if let's say you go in here and there's no upcoming meetings listed, okay? It could just be that the instructor has not gotten them on there yet. You will want to check the syllabus because they could have just thrown it in the syllabus. You want to check the announcements. They could have put it there until they can get it into that other part. Typically also all instructors will send you a welcome email the weekend before the classes start, and they might put it in there. Okay. So if you go into Zoom and it's not listed under upcoming meetings, please check the syllabus, the announcements, and your email in case they emailed you that link. Check in one of those places. Okay. So, and then speaking of that, let's say so all of the classes are either Monday, Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central. Please also remember all of our classes are in Central Time, okay? Or your class is going to be a Tuesday, Thursday, 6 to 9 Central, okay? That will typically mean your assigned program manager is not in the office because most of us are done at 5:30, okay? So if you have a question, like you can't figure out how to get in there, please email your instructor, understanding that they are also in the process of teaching and they might not see your email right away. Okay. So if you have issues, send an email. Know that you might not get a response if it's like during class time, but understand that if you can't get in, it will be recorded so you can go in and watch it the next day. I think most instructors will have that recording up right after the class happens or that next day. They're usually pretty quick. It typically just automatically goes on there. Okay. So just be patient. If you can't get in, again, we will probably not be in the office at that time. And your instructor just may be in the middle of teaching and may not see your email until a break or something like that. Okay. The other thing, so Ivy Learn is powered. So it's actually, the company is Canvas. There is a Canvas app that can be downloaded on your phone. Again, you're not really going to probably be able to do your assignments within it because that'll be through NetAcad, NetLab, things like that. But by downloading that Canvas app, you can see announcements that come through. You can click on those Zoom links, that kind of thing. So it might be helpful to download that Canvas app. It's CANVAS, and register using your Ivy Tech information. I think that is all I have. Amber, were there any questions that did not get answered?
Nope, you are good.
Perfect.
Awesome. And then we have Dr. Michael too, who's joining us this evening, and he helped to develop the digital forensics track, and he's going to talk a little bit more about that track. So if that's your track, here's your chance to hear some insight and ask any questions that you might have. So Dr. Tu, would you like to take it away?
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Amber.
Mhm.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, my name is Michael Toots. I'm going to talk about the learning path, right? Training path, and especially talking about the digital forensic course. Okay, so here is our website, right, about our CWCT training program, and you can find the training path here. So well, we have 3 different tracks for the CWCT professional certificate program. So one of that is like AI track, and another one system administration track, and another one is about digital forensics. So I'm going to only talk about the digital forensic course, and we have some other PIs who are talking about the other tracks. Okay, so I will just go to the forensics track. So I hope you can read my screen. Okay, so our track has like 6 courses. So there are 3 we call core course, which is also the 3 courses for those CWCT entry certificate program. So it is like the CompTIA A+ course, and CompTIA Security Plus course, and the CISC SubOps course. So all these 3 courses are prepare training participants to be ready to taking the corresponding certification course. So the A+ course is basically about the computer components, right? and set up, and for example, how to install the computers and manage the user accounts, right? Set up the file systems, of course, operating systems, set up the user accounts, passwords, groups, as well as some other security policy, security things, right? Like apply the BitLock, right? Encryption, apply the like IDAs, right? The firewall, whatever, right? Sometimes we may set up a firewall, but sometimes may not, right? Okay, so at least we may have those malware detection systems, right? And there's one small component we would like to cover is about the network basics, and it actually should be 1 week or 2 weeks. So we will cover those, like using the packet tracer, right? Okay, packet tracer. So I guess this is what the A+ course looks like. Okay, so they have a network, hardware, Windows, file system, right? Configuration, those things. Okay, so I'm going to close this. Okay, so the second course is about the security plus. Okay, so and this window is actually showing the security plus course modules. So basically, it will cover the cybersecurity principles and basic concepts like threats, risks, vulnerabilities, and attacks, right? And then we will cover the basic of cryptographics and the public and private key encryption, decryption technologies, right? And then we will talk about the network security, okay? Network security, wireless security, and then of course, we were talking about how we can do the system and the network hardening, right? So for example, to control the ports, right? Which ports should be open, and we make sure those servers are patched, right? Okay, on time. Then we were talking about the, some security, the different aspects like application security, web security, right? And then we'll like cloud security, as well as the last portion should be like always be risk management, okay? Risk management or business continuity. So that's about the security plus course. Okay, so this course will be prepare you for the security plus certification, which is very popular, okay, very popular certification required by the government. Okay, so then we another course it should be the I think we're talking about CISC CyberOps, right? Okay, so I think I have opened the security CISC CyberOps. Okay. So CISC CyberOps is mainly about the security operation. So by this name, we will know this is a hands-on base, right? So doing all about the operations. For example, virtual environment setup, right? And look at the system process, the registry, PowerShell things, right? And well, how to use a Wireshark to do well, we don't, this is not for penetration testing, but mainly for you to test how secure your system is, right? And we were also talking about other topics like malware analysis, social engineering things, some other common attacks, right? We will, talk more about firewall and encryption, decryption. So this is on how to use the tools, right? How to operate. So basically hands-on. So you will provide lots of hands-on labs for you to practice. So this is a very popular course as well. Okay. So we have there are 3 track specific course. Linux, I'm not going to talk about this. I think we have another PI is going to cover this. So it's basically about basic Linux command, right? And how to administrate the Linux systems. So we have 2 courses, like 255 and 235 of forensic course. So actually, this DFI course is the first course you should take. So this course is more about the fundamental about computer or digital forensics, okay? Digital forensics, including like law and regulations and procedures, right? Investigation procedures and rules of evidence, something like that. And then it will go to some basic topics on forensic investigation. For example, how we are going to do with the file systems, right? Okay, and take a look at the Windows registries, even maybe Linux, right? Something like that. So we are going to use the open source tool. It's called Autopsy. So you will have a chance to perform those tools, and the labs. The labs, it's actually we are going to use in the NDG existing lab. Okay, so you should have a lot of opportunity to do this hands-on stuff. Okay, so of course this is called a CHA file, right? Prepare you with a CHA file, and so then this course should be talking about how we're going to investigate security instance as well. So you should have one or two labs to talk about that, at least some modules to discuss about that. Okay, so the last course for this track is we call computer forensics. Okay, so CWCT 235. So you must take this 255 before you can take 235. Okay, so this course is basically a Windows forensic course. So it will all the lectures and the slides and the labs are designed by us, developed by us, and it will cover all aspects of Windows forensics, like file systems, operating systems, right? Windows registry, applied decryption, internet forensics. Basically, it's browser, based forensics, right? And Microsoft offers forensics as well as the network and internet forensics, right? So that's or internet forensics, what we're talking about. Network forensics is a little bit different, right? Okay, so those are the topics we would like to cover. So this is also a very hands-on course, okay? Very hands-on course, so lots of labs. Okay, I think that's pretty much for me to talk about, and thank you, Amber.
Thank you, Dr. Tu. And then we have Professor Rami here tonight, who's going to talk about the system admin track for us. And he's pinch hitting on this, so we appreciate him coming in and doing this for us.
Okay, great. So I'm going to leave. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Professor Rami, and I teach in Ivy Tech cybersecurity for many years. And today I'm going to be talking about the Cybersecurity System Administration Certificate Program. This program, as you've seen from Dr. Tu, the major 3 core courses that every student in this program, the CWCT, will be taking the A+, the Security Plus, and Cyber Ops. As A+, as Dr. Tu said, it's really focused on hardware and software. That's really a definite background before you get into cybersecurity. Security Plus is foundation of network security concept and a lot of terminology in cybersecurity, and Cyber Ops is really get into the network Cisco concept of cybersecurity. But what this course is about has the 3 core classes. We have the Linux system administration, we have the ethical hacking, and we have the cloud systems administration here. I have a tons of information for you. I'm going to go ahead and copy paste this information for you right now and do a little demo today. So I'm going to see if I can put back that in the chat. Back, where is that in my chat? Okay, so put that for everybody so you guys can see it to all. This is a lot of useful information. Oops, it's too big. I have to cut it and paste it. Okay, I'll cut it and paste it to different component. Then I actually paste that to you guys. I have a lot of information there. That's the reason I couldn't copy and paste it. But let me go ahead and dissect that. Chat, so you could see some of the certification. Here you go. This is some of the stuff. Let me copy paste the list of the part because the limit what you can do there for copy and paste. Also part of security, right? Okay, so the system administration, I started my career as a Unix system admin. That was my Kung Fu. What do we learn in this track is be able to interact with the operating system on a command line interface. There's a difference between graphical user interface, command line interface. A lot of you have used Windows, point and click. Anybody can do it, right? When it comes into system administration, you really need to know command line interface. So what are we learning in this track? For example, Linux administration, this is really basic introduction to the operating system Linux. We're using, actually, let me go ahead and show you this link. We have the Cisco, let's see, this is the Cisco NetAcad Academy, where we actually use introduction to a Linux, called Linux Essential. The certification is published here, and this is a great certification. The environment we use is user-friendly extremely. You don't have to download any software on your computer. You could do this from your tablet, from your cell phone. But of course, I want you to be sitting in front of the computer to do this command. So you will have the instruction left-hand side and you have the command line on the right-hand side. So you don't really have to download the software. This is, as a beginner class, is a great environment for you to practice your Linux Plus certification. Linux is the real kung fu mini operating system. If you look up this website, I'm sure this website, I have a lot of websites for you here. This website called top500.org, these are the most powerful supercomputer on planet Earth. And if you pick the top 10, every single supercomputer on planet Earth, the operating system is like the HPE Cray supercomputer. There's actually what Linux based, SUSE Linux what based. So this is a critical class for you. I highly recommend that you should really pay close attention. A lot of the students who actually right now find great careers in cybersecurity, they were actually coming from the command line interface. So make sure you learn the Linux Plus certification. So what do we learn in this class? Basically navigating our system. I have a little demo here. This really kind of little demo. This is a Kali Linux OS, and I'm not going to take so time to actually teach Linux here, but with the Linux command line interface, I can find an IP address of my machines. I can recon my server and can find an open port. For example, I have the SSH secure shell port open here, port 22. I can actually connect to that port and can log in and I can accept the encryption. I can log in right now. And what happened in that case, if the hackers make sure I type in the password right. If the hackers right now have access into your server, that's what you learn in the second course, which is called Certified Ethical Hacking. But you really need to learn how to secure your operating system. This person right now, once he knows your password because of keyloggers or because of your password is easy to guess. Password is guess password attack. Person can remotely shut down your server. So shut down now, and you're done. Your server's down. Your company does not work, and yeah, I shut down the server remotely right now. So it is really demo. Of course, I'm using a virtual machine called VirtualBox. I'm using Cat Linux to demonstrate how critical it is for you to learn Linux commands. So it's really critical for you. So what are you learning in this class? Basic navigation of Linux operating system. You have to learn a lot of these interesting command lines, and also you have to learn how to write a basic scripting, not really advanced scripting. Professor David Lieberman is a Kung Fu. He's Kung Fu is programming, and he owns his own software company in Silicon Valley. He's going to be teaching you basic Python classes, but that's under the AI track. But I recommend also you should learn some basic programming like Python. So this is in terms of the Linux system administration, very critical class for you to learn. The ethical hacking class, like I demonstrated for you, really big, take you back into the basic of what is ethical hacking is. According to the definition of EC Council, ethical hacking is a process of finding open holes in the system. Like today, I opened port 22 and I was able to actually shut down that server remotely from a PuTTY and also from my Kali Linux. I just did a demo on my, what do you call it, in Sandbox, VirtualBox. I was able to demonstrate how easy somebody can shut down the entire company, right? Entire organization. So with ethical hacking, you will be actually learning to find these loopholes in the system, and you're doing this as ethically. Of course, there's a black hat and gray hat and white hat, right? So you're gonna make sure you're doing this as a white hat hackers. You get to learn all the kung fu, how somebody can SSH into your server, can somebody FTP into your server and find some kind of security holes and so on and so forth. So this ethical hacking is critical here. I do have a website. I also send it to you in the chat. This website talks about the most critical cybersec.org, critical position in cybersecurity. This website designed with a grant from DHS and Nancy Lamar. She's our friend. She actually love to come one time talk to you guys about these cybersecurity jobs. And she handled the cybersec.org. She and her team in the DHS. So if you get your basic jobs as so Linux Plus prepare you to learn how to do the operating system, navigate with the command, but the certified ethical hacking, that's when you start getting into work 1 or 2 years as a cybersecurity specialist or maybe cybercrime analyst, whatever position you have, and then you can actually develop 1 or 2 years of experience, then you become a pen testing and vulnerability tester. That's when you move on into cybersecurity, ethical hacker. That's when you start learning the different techniques. And there's a lot of certification. If you go down here, what are the different certification for this field? What are the top certification here? We have some of the top certification. And also you can go back again and find your state. If you go back again into your state, for example, I live in Indiana, and for my state, I can see how many jobs available in the fields and how many opening and so on and so forth. It's a great website. I did send it to you, part of the chat. The third track I'm going to talk about today is cloud system administration. Cloud system administration is very beautiful because recently we just moved from the, go back here, show this really nice image. We used to actually install the server at Ivy Tech on the IT rooms. We used to actually install the server at Microsoft's headquarters, but technology evolved over time. So we took the server, we took the database, we took the application, we took the server devices, we all actually put on the cloud. So nowadays we could run this complete system. I show this really cool system because I teach this class also. This is called VoIP. If I have a picture of it here. This is a voice over internet protocols. If you guys remember, we went from circuit switching, like your old POTS, PSTN phone system, right? Circuit switching into a packet switching. So nowadays we actually have a what? A phone system for the entire Ivy Tech runs on the cloud. You could actually hear your voicemails and message can be sent to you, text to you, fax to you via what? HTTPS, secure encryption. So the VoIP is really an example of cloud computing. But cloud computing is really, this is a really beautiful picture here. If you look at it here, we took the database, we took the application server, we took the servers, we took the surge, and also including your mobile application, we put it on the cloud, makes it easier for you to actually access that system 24/7, 365. And anytime in this, if the system took a vacation, the system's still running because this is a complete 24 hours, 365, as to say running system has an infinite resources of security and multiple layers of security. Is very difficult for hackers to hack into it. So what do you learn in this cloud security? When you get into cloud system administration, you learn how we're going to use an OpenStack, and we're going to be using actually a Linux-based platform. So you really need to learn Linux again, right? So you'll be able to launch, deploy, and manage project user roles, quotas, networks, routers, addressing, images, flavors, and block storage and customization of instances. So this is really critical course for anybody actually go for system administration. You have to learn about cloud computing. Cloud computing is the new revolution right now. This is one of the hot topics right now. So these are the three topics I talk about today. If you would like to learn about individual description of every course, you can go to the Purdue website and click on the course description. You can learn about every single topic here. What else I recommend you should do here? I have maybe 1-2 minutes just talk about stuff here for you guys. I recommend also you should involve in cybersecurity competition. I recommend going into, for example, show you here. This is something I can show you. My student Ivy Tech, we do the National Cyber League competition. We have this competition starting actually on the 25th. So you could do the gymnasium, practice game, individual game, and team games. Highly recommend if you're taking this program to at least expose yourself to at least one CTF, capture the flag, like National Cyber League. It is actually very affordable, $35. This grant does not really pay for it, but it's actually highly recommend that you do it. There's some other grant. I'm doing a grant with the Midwest. We have about 4 states. We pay for this NCL, and my student get paid through that NCL, NSA, MPS grant. Another competition I recommend for everybody is doing the US Cyber Challenge. US Cyber Challenge is a beautiful boot camp that you could actually get into it. I did also put the link in the chat. My student, this is my student, Dustin, who actually happened to be also an Ivy Tech student, also happened to be a CWCT student like everybody else here. And Dustin won the national cybersecurity competition. He won the June the Eastern Boot Camp and competed with the Western Boot Camp. And the winners of June and July, they go to the October Boot Camps, the October National Competition, and we win the White House. And it was amazing. We have the largest cybersecurity conference in the United States. We get the gold belt. This is me with Dustin, very proud of my CWCT student and also my Ivy Tech student. So the nice things about this cyber competition, you get a boot camp for a whole 1 week, from Mondays to Thursday. On Friday, you do the CTF, and every day you have a professional SAN Institute faculty who actually get you exposed to cyber competition. There's other competition, like we also have the CyberBit, which is cyber range competition. My student does get involved in the cyber competition, and this is just amazing because we actually have the cyber range running in our campus in Valparaiso, Indiana, Ivy Tech. This is it for me. If you guys have any question, I left my cell number and also my email address. You can just text me, introduce yourself. And if you have any questions, I can really more than happy to help you. And also put my email address if you have any specific. Don't make it very long. Just make sure short, up to the point, and I can reply back to you. Good luck to everybody. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rami.
All right, everyone who is still here, thank you for your time. So this is a little bit about the AI track. This is one of the tracks which we cover in CWCT. In the cybersecurity artificial tracks, which the link is also available. So I'm going to use the same that you can later on access. So artificial intelligence, we have the same 3 courses which my peers talked about, that is A+, Security Plus, and Cyber Ops that you will be taking. And once you complete those core courses, the track specific courses include Python Essentials and AI in cybersecurity. So Python Essential is the prerequisite for both AI in cybersecurity as well as IoT and hardware security course. So it's really recommended. The way you plan the courses is to plan the Python Essentials ahead of in your first couple of sessions, so you have the options to take AI and IoT hardware security so you can be more flexible in planning. So a little bit about the courses. Python Essentials is hard coding skills. You will learn your basics of programming in Python, in which you will be using certain libraries and coding for cybersecurity, and a couple of examples. And then in AI, in cybersecurity and IoT security, we expect that you know how to program, and there are some labs that you will be doing weekly. In AI cybersecurity, for example, we talk about reinforcement learning, federated learning, and basics of basically AI is covered. We are also planning to have an advanced course of AI, but this is something which is under discussion, and as things work out, we will be keeping you posted. So hopefully in your session, you will have more opportunities to learn about AI. For the IoT and hardware security, this is a very interesting course. It integrates some knowledge of physical devices, not just programming, but physical structure, how the devices are built using transistors, hardware construction, and then we cover some hardware security aspects that goes beyond application level security, that covers physical structures like memory, firmware, basic input and output interfaces, and how they needs to be secure. So this is a very interesting course. It's a national need. There's a lot of opportunity specifically in hardware security, which you will learn more when you take the course. So that basically constitutes this last track, which is on the AI. I know we are running late in time, so I'm going to stop here. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Professor Farina. And I don't think that we have any questions in chat at this time. But if anybody has any questions, can they reach out to you?
Sure, yes.
And which email address should they contact you at?
I can leave the email here. It is so actually both for Ivy Tech and uncc.edu are fine.
Perfect.
So this is the same fsakib at ivytech.edu is also where you can reach me out.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in and giving that overview. I know that the AI track participants appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
I guess one of the questions is Python Essentials give enough depth to prepare for the AI machine learning class?
That is correct. So you would need to have the Python Essentials before you can take the AI and IoT hardware security. So to answer why do we need it, there are certain packages that are available in Python which will be used by the instructor to conduct the labs. So the expectation is that you have the understanding of Python, so you may learn more applied side of that for the AI. Right. Yes. So Python will cover the basics of Python, not specific to AI. But when we use AI, then we will be referring to those packages, how to use them, how to include them. So, well, I hope that that answers your question. That you need to know how to program using the interpreted language, classes, and the basics of how you do the coding. And then in AI, you will be learning more on the AI specific side of the topics. Thanks, Phil.
All right. I think we'll leave it at that. And then if anybody has any AI specific questions, they'll reach out to you at your email address provided in chat. So thank you again, Professor Farina, for coming in and sharing about the AI track.
Sure, thanks.
All right, then everybody, let's wrap it up. Only a little bit over 6, so hopefully the few extra minutes you stayed was helpful and informative, and we hope that you enjoy the program.